Polynomial long division starts out using regular division, and it's kind of the same thing. So you're taking your divisor and putting it outside, and your dividend and putting it inside. So remember, you're asking yourself, how many times does 13 go into 1? Well, none. How many times does 13 go into 15? One time. Then you take this and you multiply. That gives you 13. You subtract, which gives you 2. Drop down to 7. How many times does 13 go into 27? Twice. So then I take that and multiply it to get 26. Now I subtract to get 1. Drop down the 3. How many times does 13 go into 13? One time. Then I multiply again. I subtract, and I get 0. Okay, so that's a review of long division that you probably learned in grade school. Now we're going to take that and translate it to polynomials. So now you're looking at this. You're saying, I have an x. What's it going to take to get to x to the third? So you have x. You're trying to get to x, x, x. Well, what do you need? You need at least 2 more x's to get x to the third. So you need x squared. Now you're going to multiply this to both pieces. And you're going to get x to the third plus 3x squared. Okay, so now you're going to subtract. When you subtract this term is going to go away. This term's subtraction is going to become 2x squared, and you're going to drop down plus 7x. Okay, so now you're saying this outside x again. What's it going to take to get that? So I have x, and I'm trying to get 2xx. So what do you need? You need a 2, and you need an x to make it look like that. So you're doing 2x. Okay, so now I take this to both pieces. So that's going to give me 2x squared plus 6x. Same thing here where we do our subtraction. I'm going to subtract this to get 0. I'm going to subtract that to get 1x, or you could just write x. And I'm going to drop down plus 3. Okay, so now I'm saying what times this x is going to give me 1x. So I need x. I need to get to 1x. The only thing that I need is 1. So I put plus 1. I multiply this to both of them, and I get 1x plus 3. And when I subtract those, 1 minus 1 is 0. 3 minus 3 is 0. We have a remainder of 0. Okay, so let's look at another one. So again, the divisor goes outside. The dividend goes inside. So 2x to the third minus 4x squared. You'll notice that we're missing an x term. We can kind of leave that for now, but we're just going to have to kind of watch that when we go through. So we're looking at this guy. We're saying what times 2x gives me 2x to the third. Okay, so I need 2 more x's, so I need x squared. Distribute this to both. I get 2x to the third minus 2x squared. Okay, now I'm subtracting this. So when you subtract this, that will go away. When you subtract this, watch carefully because this becomes plus plus because you're subtracting a negative. So this is going to be negative 2x squared, and we're going to drop down plus 2. So now I'm saying what times this outside 2x is going to give me negative 2x squared. So if you wanted to write that out over here, I have 2x, I'm looking for negative 2xx. What are you still missing? You're missing a negative sign and an x. So minus x goes out there. This guy goes to both pieces again. So I have negative 2x squared and then plus 2x. Okay, so this becomes minus minus, and that goes away. These are not like terms. Okay, so you can't put those together. You're going to have negative 2x because you're subtracting this one, and then this guy is going to come down as plus 2. Okay, so now you're saying, so again, why did that happen? Because these aren't like terms. So it had to go here, and this one we were subtracting because it was on the bottom. So now you're saying what times this 2x gives me negative 2x? Just a negative 1. Okay, that's going to go to both pieces, and you're going to get negative 2x plus 2. When you subtract that, you get a plus plus here to 0, remainder 0. So that was a little bit tricky in this part when it didn't have terms matching up. but it's still not too bad. All right, same thing. This time what you have is you're dividing by something raised to a power. Okay, so you have 2x squared. So we're writing our problem out. Okay, so we're saying what times this outside 2x squared is going to give me 2x to the fourth. So if you need to keep writing it, I have 2x. I'm trying to get 2x, x, x, x. So what am I missing? Well, I'm missing xx. So I need x squared. Okay, because those are the two x's we were missing. So I'm going to multiply this to both pieces and get 2x to the fourth minus 3x squared. Okay, so you're going to notice that this is not to the third. So we're going to move that guy over to give us negative 3x squared so that they're lined up. So now we're subtracting. So you subtract here to get 0. This guy was never used, so we're going to drop it straight down. We're subtracting here to get a plus plus. So this is really plus 4x squared. And then we'll probably need to drop this guy down because our terms don't match. All right, next one. Looking at 2x squared, what does it take to get to 14x to the third? So you have 2xx, you're trying to get to 14xxx. So what do you need? You need a 7 and another x. So plus 7x goes here, distributing. I get 14x to the third minus 21x. And again, that doesn't match there. So we have to put it where it does match. So minus 21x. Okay, you're subtracting to get negative. That's going to go away. This is going to drop down. That's going to subtract, become addition, which is also going to cancel. So all you have left to bring down is that. So every time you have to bring something down with it. Okay, so our last piece is to say this 2x squared out here, how do we get it to become 4x squared? So you have 2xx, you're trying to get 4xx. What you need is a 2. Okay, so that goes to both pieces, so I get 4x squared minus 6. When you subtract those, you get a remainder of 0. So the one thing I didn't show you in your notes is what happens when there is a remainder. So let's say you get all the way down to the bottom and you're dividing by like x plus 3, and you get 5 as your remainder. Whatever's at the end, you're going to put plus 5 over x plus 3, okay? Because that's your divisor, that's what you're dividing by, and that's your remainder. So if you were dividing by 2x plus 1, and you ended up with a negative 3, you would put minus 3 over 2x plus 1. Okay, and that's polynomial long division.